Hey there, guys, and a big welcome back to the Blaze TV podcast. It's Kimberley and Stu Coles with you. And our guest on this episode is new Coventry Blaze forward Zach Heintz. Zach, big welcome to the Coventry Blaze organization. It's great to have you with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
No, honestly, the pleasure is all ours, and I hope you're ready for a little trip down memory lane here, because I'm going to go back all the way to when you were playing midget hockey when you were growing up in Michigan, if you don't mind, a year with the good old Fox Motors there, and I think maybe some people sleep on that competition because it's a strong league. They play across the whole country, and it's fiercely competitive hockey, even at a young age, isn't it? What was it like, kind of? I guess starting off there.
Yeah, so that's the first AAA program. I guess second AAA program I played for. It was originally Michigan Nationals, which transformed into Fox Motors Hockey Club.
Mhm.
But when you think of AAA hockey in Michigan and travel hockey, you think of Detroit, which is where
Yeah.
most of the high-end talent is. But yeah, the west side of Michigan never really had AAA hockey until that Fox Motors program came along. And yeah, so I played double A growing up probably till I was 12, 13 years old, and made the transition into Fox Motors, so triple A. And we won a state tournament, state championship with Michigan Nationals a year prior to going into Fox Motors. So that was like the first time anyone's ever won outside of the east side of the state. So that really kickstarted my hockey career, and that ultimately led me into my junior career. So
Yeah, I mean, starting with a splash for sure. And then to go into your junior hockey, you went probably about as far away from Michigan as possible, all the way down to good old Odessa, Texas. How did that move come about? Because that's quite a change.
yeah, I got recruited out of AAA. One of the showcases, tier one showcases out in LA. It was Greg Gatto, the head coach of Odessa, approached me after one of the games. He approached me, and I think it was my line mate Trevor Zenas, and we both ended up making the trip down to Odessa, Texas, which was a culture shock for us coming from Michigan down to the oil fields in Texas. But yeah, no, I loved it down there. I loved my time down there. The coach was awesome. The billets I lived with was awesome. The hockey was incredible. I loved playing in the North American League. Um, Ultimately, I was there for I think 2.5 years, and then I got traded at the end of my junior career. Went to Lone Star Brahmas, which is also in the North American League, the same division, and I finished my junior career there, and that was in Dallas, Texas. So it was a little bit different, but ultimately still Texas, which was awesome. So
Yeah, and Dallas has become a real hotbed of hockey over kind of the last, I guess, 20 years. Winning the Stanley Cup in 1999, I think it was 2000, and then in recent memory, the last 5, 6 years, having a couple of appearances late deep in the playoffs. How did that trade come about? Because like the NHL is something I think Stu and I are kind of skilling up on, learning a lot more about as we get deeper into our careers doing this. What was that like at a young age, having to kind of pack up and ship off? And I guess it was probably a good thing that it was only down the road there.
yeah, it was definitely a change for me. It involved a lot of growing up at a young age for sure and maturing quickly. But yeah, I think moving helped me in many ways, and I think that Texas was the perfect spot for me. And then ending up in Lone Star was kind of like the first big city I ever lived in outside of Grand Rapids, which is it's a smaller city, I guess smaller city, but Dallas was just a whole
Mhm.
different just like city's atmosphere of just incredible like traffic and just a fast life. So yeah, I guess it was just growing up. It made me grow up fast. So
And like when you were over there in Michigan Nationals and Fox, you had some success. Not lifting a cup, but a couple of nice playoff appearances in what is a really fiercely competitive South Division. Would you say that the South Division in the NHL is probably the best division in terms of talent out of the handful that they've got there?
yeah, I'd say the South Division has the most talent. I think it also has like the most maturity out of like players in the league. And I think you see year by year, usually it's the South team that wins it or they're always in the finals. So it's a grind, but I think the South teams usually have that competitive edge against the other teams.
And I'm going to wind you back just for one team, going back to Odessa, because there's something that you probably already know, having already been in your mid-20s, already playing through college and through various degrees of junior. But hockey's a small world. Everybody knows everybody. And you came in contact with a Blaze alumnus in good old Peyton Franti. What was he like down in Odessa? And did you guys get to share a line or any special teams at all?
Yeah, I knew Peyton Franny really well. He was one of my best buddies on the team, and I got to see his career just skyrocket playing junior. But yeah, we were on the power play together. We were on the line for a little bit, just kind of mix and match when we were down in Odessa. But ultimately, he ended up going to St. Norbert College, which was Adrian's rival. But yeah, so it was awesome watching him grow, and I know him really well. So.
I will hand over to Stu at this point because that takes you nicely into your collegiate career. Stu.
It's almost as if you've read my notes already, because the first question was about that move to NCAA and the fact that you went to Adrian and Peyton went to St. Norbert, the two big rivals there. What drew you to Adrian?
Honestly, it was Adam Krug, and then well, at the time it was Kevin Moore who was the assistant there. Now he's obviously the head coach in Coventry, which is awesome. But I think it was just a little bit of everything. I know that I thought I was going to go Division I. Nothing ended up working out. And then obviously Adrian was a top Division III school basically every single year. And it was close to home. So it was also a huge plus for me. And I know that they have a program that's always had a history of winning. So I think that really drew me in, and obviously being close to home was a plus. So,
and with that, everyone knowing everyone, you had to have crossed paths with Peyton on opposite sides of the ice as well. So was it strange having guys that you've spent a lot of time with in sort of juniors, then coming back at college?
Yeah, it's weird. It's tough because when you're playing against your friends, you don't want to be buddy with them, and it's obviously competitive. But after the game, it's always fun to catch up with them and see them because we haven't talked in a while. But yeah, us in St. Norbert, we always went to war when we played them, and I think we always got the best of them. I want to always kind of give him a little bit of a tough time about that, but
yeah. So. When you went to Adrian, bit of my own sort of personal, professional curiosity more than anything else, what did you study there? What was the major at Adrian?
I went into business. I was a marketing degree, and I really enjoyed my time with that. And my parents always were super strict about school first, hockey second. So I think that's why I chose the NCAA path as well.
It certainly makes sense to get a good education, certainly underneath you during it. But that first year when you went to Adrian, that was a pretty good year all round. You got Freshman of the Year, an NCHA division title with Adrian. That's a pretty good start for your first year of college life.
Yeah, that was an awesome year. Coming out of junior, I was not really knowing what to expect going into Adrian, and having Kevin Moore and Adam Krug as my coaches was awesome because, they were someone I could rely on, whether it was hockey related or just outside of the sport, is someone I could lean on. And I think that helped me with my confidence. And, I had a successful year when it came to winning Freshman of the Year and all that. But I think our team success was even more important because we kind of started off slow, had a skid. And then at the end of the year, we were going into the playoffs, winning on a hot streak. And then COVID kind of swept through and kind of derailed our season where we were going to play. I think it was Hobart in I want to say the quarterfinals or something like that in the NCAA tournament. And then obviously that season got canceled. So it was really tough. And I felt bad for the seniors.
And that draws a lot of parallels to Coventry's time in that season as well, as they, in 2019-20, the Blaze had a slow start and then they picked up some results and were really rolling when the season got cut off. For us, it was just before the playoffs hit. But that must have felt really disappointing that you had that kind of, you're on a roll, it's just there, like the playoffs and trophies are just in reach, and then it's not.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was awful. I felt really, really, really bad for our seniors, and that was their last chance at it. They hadn't gone to the NCAA tournament in their 4 years there, and that was their opportunity to do it. They didn't win a Harris Cup final, which was one thing that we did, and that was awesome. At least we got to end on that high note. But yeah, going into that, it was supposed to be something super surreal and special, and it got taken away, and it was an awful feeling for sure.
Yeah, and then the following year, no hockey. 2020, 2021, the world has changed, and you're sort of sitting out on the sidelines. What filled your time during COVID?
A lot of golf. That's when I got into it. It was tough, but yeah, I really started playing golf then, and then I also got a dog, so that took a lot of my time up. But yeah, COVID kind of shut my world down for a bit with not playing hockey, not going back to that 2021, 2022, or is it? Yeah, one of those seasons, and it was a shocker. It was definitely a weird feeling watching them play, and it was just tough being on the sidelines for sure.
Yeah, certainly when you are so used to being in that hockey bubble of season, playoffs, off season, getting ready, like get that cycle, to suddenly break it so abruptly, it kind of changes perspectives and changes approaches. But as you went back to Adrian, when you returned to Adrian, it went from almost there to getting absolutely everything: division title, national title, the first title that Adrian won at Div 3. That must have been, such a special year. And really, was it one loss during the whole season?
Yep. We lost the first game in overtime to Utica. First game of the season. I think we had 11 guys out during it with COVID. So they got sidelined, not playing. So it was an incredible year, super surreal. It was picture perfect other than the first game. But yeah, it was a heck of a run. I know that not many teams can say that they won 31 straight games in a row, but yeah, that was probably the best year of hockey I've had in my life for sure.
Yeah, and that sort of finals, we know here in the UK that our playoff structure is a little bit different to a lot of other leagues, but actually NCAA is really similar, because the NCAA championships, Div 1, Div 3, you have a finals weekend where semi-finals are played Friday or Saturday, and then the finals on Sunday, and that's how you won that Div 3 title.
Yeah, it's the setup and format is interesting. I guess it's kind of similar to what you said. It's one game elimination after a certain point in the season, and it's every single second counts and every single second matters. So going from Friday, you have to win that game, and then you get your day off. Right into Sunday is the final. It's every second counts and every second matters. So that's definitely that was definitely a grind, and getting through that and winning was a surreal feeling, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, and what was that final like? That sort of Div 3 final, was it Genesco State that you beat there in the final? What did it feel like to finally, after the COVID and after the year out, to then finally sort of achieve everything that you sort of said that you wanted to get to? How did that sort of feel in that moment?
It was almost a breath of fresh air in a way. Kind of watching it from the sideline that year, it was tough, but yeah, we beat SUNY Geneseo in the championship 5-2, and it was a stressful game for the first little bit, but then they took a major and we capitalized twice on it, scored 2 goals, so it kind of eased it a little bit, but they got one back right away. So it was kind of a roller coaster for a bit, but once it was done, it was like I said, the most surreal moment I've ever had in my life. I'll never forget that with the guys on the team, and obviously the coaching staff and the community of Adrian. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and then you had the fun following year of trying to defend the national title, which, I mean, not many teams go back to back in competition. I think Hershey just did it in the American League, but generally teams don't. And you guys were very, very close. And it felt like, Zach, that whole year was a grind, because I think Aurora were maybe 1 point behind you when the regular season finished, something like that. They were kind of nipping at your heels all the way. There were tons of OT games, looking at the results and looking at the box scores and whatnot. And then to lose the national championship final in OT, I mean, that must have been such a roller coaster of a season.
Yeah, it was. I think the entire year we knew as a team that everyone was going to give us their best night and day every single day. So yeah, I think that when we got to the finals and we got to the overtime, we thought we were going to get the bounce and it was going to go our way, just because we've been battling the entire year, and things happen in hockey, and it was just a deflection off a skate and right to the guy's stick in the back door, and he tapped it in. So you go from feeling incredible the year before to getting the other side of it, and you're in the dumps. So that's part of the game, and it was tough, but I think we learned from it going into the next year, and ultimately I was in, I think, 3 out of my 4 years I played in the NCAA tournament. So it was incredible, I guess, experience wise, but losing was a heartbreak for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things in hockey and in life, stuff's going to come at you that takes your legs out from under you, and it's how you dust yourself off and get back up. And in your final year at Adrian last year, I guess in some ways, it's a little bit similar to what Stu was saying about the first year. You got some real big individual accolades in there. You were NCHA Player of the Year. You led Adrian in goals, but that championship again just out of reach in your final year.
Yeah, I think individually I had my most successful year there. I think as a team we had an incredible year as well. Like we were young. We had a lot of adversity. I think at the beginning of the year, like we said, we lost a bunch and we weren't expecting to, which happens. It's hockey. And then we fought back and we ended up making to the Frozen Four, and, lost 2-1 to Trinity. It's not a good feeling as a senior, but I think learning from it, and it's just it's part of life. Like you said, it's going to happen. It's just how you bounce back from it. And I think that I've learned that, and I think that everyone on the team learned that, and I think that's something valuable that they can use for the following years as well.
And sandwiched in the mix of representing Adrian, you also got to appear at the Universidad tournament, which it's not something that is super common amongst players that end up over in the Elite League. So tell the Blaze fans a little bit about that competition and what represented the United States and that meant to you.
Yeah, that was everything. That was one of the coolest experiences of my life. The University Games was held in Lake Placid last year, and me and 2 of my teammates got to go over there and represent Team USA. Originally, it was supposed to be a Division I team, a Division I school, and then something happened during all of that when they were formatting it, and they ended up sending a D3 team of all of the, I guess, top players from multiple teams. And we represented USA against basically all of the other countries, which was made up of, I think, Canada, Japan. They had teams from all over, but we ended up kind of shocking everyone and making it to the finals with a heartbreaking loss to Canada, obviously. But
I was going to say, what an incredible experience, in not just in hockey but in life as well, to pull on the old Stars and Stripes. I think you'll probably no one likes to lose in a final. I think we've all been there in one way or another in life, but still to, I guess, stand on the podium with a silver medal is a pretty great feeling.
Yeah, it's an awesome accomplishment, especially at the world's level. It's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life, and I've learned from it, and I think it's awesome. So.
And I guess, the final year, Adrian, representing the United States, pretty nice way to close the door on the collegiate career. And then you get to, gear up for something exciting in the first chapter in your professional career. And, naturally, you're flying over the pond in a few weeks and joining us over here in Coventry. Why the UK? Why the Coventry Blaze? What led you to that decision?
I think it was a little bit of everything. I talked to my head coach, Adam Krug. He kind of gave me his rundown on his pro career and kind of what
And we talked about Peyton Franti a little bit, but in more recent years, another teammate of yours from your collegiate days will be joining you next year as well, returning back for his second year, Alessio Luciani. I'm surprised you didn't mention him there, buddy. Did you pick up the phone to old Lucci there and get his take on things?
No, don't worry. I'm not forgetting Luch. No, yeah, I talked to Luch a lot about it, and he said that he really enjoyed his time over in Coventry, obviously why he's coming back. Yeah, he said it was an awesome spot, and he really sold me when he came back to the States after his time in Coventry. So he was a big influence on me for sure.
Not to knock the timeline of these conversations up a little bit, but he had a heck of a career in the NCAA as well with Adrian, didn't he? A real special and exciting player. Must have been fun playing with him, and I guess it'll be fun playing with him at the pro level too.
Yeah, exactly. I've always spoke very highly of Luch, and he's always carried himself as a professional no matter what. And I think that he holds himself to a very high standard, and he was a role model to me when I was at school. And I think that going into this year, it's going to be huge that he's there, because I have someone that I can kind of use as a role model, like I said, and he's got the experience already. So I think he'll be a huge factor in keeping me sane when I'm over and across the pond. So
for sure. And I guess another person, and we've touched on it a little bit, but I mean, having those initial conversations with Kevin about coming to Coventry and your role in the team, what he wants the identity of this team to be. I mean, that must be really exciting as well.
Yeah. I think that Kevin is awesome. He's an incredible coach. He's very detailed, very good with the X and O's, but outside of that, he's an incredible person. From the mental side of it, he connects well with the players, at least from my experiences with him. And, he knows how to take a team and he makes a family out of it. So I think that's a big thing.
Oh, that's a massive thing. I think, obviously you need the results on the ice that, obviously that's really important, but it's how that feeling, that nucleus in the dressing room, that vibe is huge. And, if you don't have that, if you have that, generally it translates to good performances on the ice as well. And we know, from looking at your tape and, seeing, the trophies that you've won and the accolades you've had as an individual throughout your career up to now, there's a heck of a player in Zach Heintz. But how would you describe your game to the Coventry fans? What kind of player is coming over in a few weeks?
I would say I'm a playmaker, speedy. I'm not afraid to get in the dirty areas and the corners. I like to be, like I said, just play fast and make plays. So that's really what you're gonna see out of me, and I hope that you guys will enjoy that.
Oh yeah, we're really looking forward to it. There's certainly a buzz building, and it's only the kind of closing days of June. With a little bit of summer left, but that can't go by fast enough. Zach, appreciate it again, buddy, for spending a little bit of time joining us on the podcast. What's the rest of the summer got in store for you now, while you count down the hours before you head over?
No, yeah, I'm super excited to get over there. So I'm kind of just itching to get on the plane and go over to the UK. But as of right now, it's just kind of spending time with my family, and then playing a little bit of golf, and then obviously just getting ready for the season for next year. So I guess that's really what I got on my plate.
Awesome. Well, Zach, thank you once again, and we'll see you in a few weeks. And guys, thanks for joining us here on Blaze TV podcast again. And we'll see you in a few days with the next one. Bye for now.